Hello, and welcome to the Wandering Creatives podcast. I'm your host, Allie, and joining me today is Anna of CozyHangs. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
And you are based out of Raleigh, is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah.
Amazing. And you make the most adorable macrame fiber art that I've seen in a while. Like, it caught my eye at one of the Raleigh night markets.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Like, I think you were diagonal from me many moons ago. Back in maybe early 2020 or late 2019. I'm not sure, but I remember like looking over and I was like, oh, sweet. Look at that. Like macrame, I love it. And so I had kind of been like keeping an eye on your stuff. Not that that's creepy at all.
No. Yeah, thanks.
And really wanted to get you on the podcast because fiber art I find so interesting. And I can't wait to kind of talk to you a little bit about how you got into it and what you love about fiber art. So thanks so much for being on today.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here with you and talk. So thanks.
Yeah, I have to throw this in before anything else. Is like you've recently launched, or maybe it hasn't been recently, I don't know, but you have these cat hammocks.
Yes.
They're like the most, I'm like, I might have to get a cat just so I can get a cat hammock.
Yeah. Cat lovers love those cat hammocks. I wish my dogs could, I wish I could make one for them, but yeah, those have been really fun and really cool to see people hang those up for their cats, and the cats can stay cozy. It's very cool.
I love them so much. I'm like, yeah, I might have to like adopt a cat just so get a cat hammock and let it live its best life.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Just being spoiled. But before I fangirl anymore over your cat hammocks, I'm gonna, be quiet for a while, and I'll have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Yeah. So I would not have considered myself to be very creative, but I found fiber art. I found macrame. Macrame was actually kind of my portal to fiber art. I found it kind of like accidentally. I wanted to hang up some plants in my house, and I was like, I'm going to try to make some plant hangers. And they were not good. And, but I loved it. I had a lot of fun. And through the creative experience of doing that, I just really realized, wow, this is an art that I really enjoy. And then later, when I started making more things and people started to ask about buying them, I was like, oh, you don't have to buy them. Like, it's your birthday. I was like, and I realized wow, people love these things. And then I started to feel like, wow, maybe I'm good at it. It took a lot of practice, but I started to feel like, wow, okay. And so from there, I was just like, okay, I'll start making these and selling them. And it's just been a journey since then. And I'm really grateful for it because I think that it has been really good for me. It's very therapeutic. I am an educator, so I was a teacher for years, and I'm now a math coach. I work with K-5 math, and I love it. And I'm also working on my Ph.D. at UNC. So I do a lot of work, and I enjoy it. And it's education is a huge passion of mine. But CozyHangs and fiber art has been very therapeutic for me. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like something I really enjoy to do. And it's a really great creative outlet for me. So it has just been a really great journey. And I've learned a lot. I've made so many friends that I hold really close through it. So yeah, that's a little / a lot about me.
So how long ago did you start with the macrame?
So it wasn't until 2020 that I really dove into it. Yes. Yeah. Where I was okay, I'm really going to practice this. And it took a lot of practice to feel to feel like, oh, like, okay, maybe I am like an artist or something, you know?
I am a maker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you've done a lot in 2 years then, watching kind of the progression, especially like on Instagram and stuff, right? Like kind of watching where you started to where you are now. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Watching your work kind of change over time.
Definitely has, for sure.
Yeah. In 2 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the also math. Not a fan, but good for you.
You know, we could have a whole podcast about math.
Oh my God. Especially from like, I feel like I don't hear it very often from people who are like kind of more, I guess, quote unquote creatives. Math is usually not like a big thing for them.
Well, and I mean, I became a math teacher and a math coach because of my struggles with math. So I think it's like more interconnected than, you know, it's like, it's so funny. People always think like, oh, math teachers and math coaches must be great at math, but like, that's not the case. So yeah, we can talk about math.
That's really, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool though. Cause you like took your, I'll just say like, like your fear or whatever, like head on. Yeah. And you were like, let's do this. Let's do some math.
Yeah.
Get into it. I could not do that. I have like math anxiety.
Yeah. A lot of students do, a lot of adults as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. We might have to talk about math sometime.
Yeah.
But something else you said, like with the macrame being kind of like therapy and relaxing, like I hear that a lot, especially from folks that do like knitting. And I myself was like a huge knitter through some of the worst times of my life because I was trying to like self-medicate with knitting. Turns out sometimes medication is the best way for that. But I tried knitting, really into it. But macrame was just never something that, I don't know, like crossed my mind. Like I had a lot of knitting friends who did macrame as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It wasn't ever anything I like thought about doing. But do you like do other, because you recently started doing like weaving as well. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. So I spent a lot of time doing macrame and learning macrame and feeling like I have a pretty good foundational practice of macrame, and I'm still learning new things every day. And I think that that's like so important as like an artist, of like, you're always learning new things. And so like, I continue to do that with macrame, and I was interested in starting to learn about weaving. I had no idea about weaving. And so I started to do that, and I also loved that. So I'm doing both. Definitely feel a lot stronger with macrame, but I've been doing it longer. So yeah, I just like to go back and forth between macrame and weaving. And sometimes I do both. It's called a macro weave. And you do like macrame and then you weave in, and it's very cool. So I do a little bit of that, and that's very fun.
I've not heard that before, so I'm going to check it out. I tried to weave. I got when I couldn't knit any longer, I was like, I'm going to try weaving, and you know, and I did a little bit. You know, it was a lot different than knitting.
I'm sure. I've never knit, so I have no idea, but I'm sure.
But I love, like, I don't know what the proper term is, but you see folks that do weaving where there's like, I don't know how to describe it, like chunks, I guess, of maybe fabric that are like maybe knotted on or tied on, and it creates just like these like layers almost. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Instead of like your traditional weave of just like, yes, absolutely. And that's the type of weaving. Well, I can show you, like, I have this one right here.
Please do. Yes. That is what I absolutely love.
Yes. So like this weaving is really fun. I mean, it's, you know, traditional weaving, we think of like, you know, like a weaving machine or like a loom where you just like weave in and out with like one string. But like weaving, that's just like very traditional weaving. I think I don't know like so much. I'm sure there are people that study weaving and you know so much about the history of weaving, but I think often like weaving there's so many different techniques now with weaving, and they've probably been, but I've learned so many different types of techniques with weaving that does make like dimension and texture and all these different things you can do with fiber within weaving. So yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah, I love that. Like you're saying, like the texture of it is just, I don't know, very pleasing to the eye. What is it about fiber art, I guess? Like, what was it about the macrame that like really caught your eye and made you go, oh yeah, like this is something I'm going to do. This is for me. Like, have you tried other like crafty stuff and kind of just settled, or, you know, like that spoke to you the most?
Not really. So like I'm not good at painting. I don't think I'm good at painting. I don't think I'm good at a lot of like arts that I have had experience with, but I will say that I was always creative. Like I did always want to do creative things. And my parents definitely like encouraged me to be creative. And my mom is a painter. Yeah. And so I think when I just started it, because I wanted to start making things for the house, I wanted to hang my plants. And so I was like, I'm going to make them. And so I think from there, that's where I never did macrame in school, right? That's not usually like a part of the art curriculum. Like we get introduced to all types of art in school, but not fiber art. At least I never did. And so it was just like when I started doing it, it really just was like, oh, I love this. This is so fun. And then when people like started also loving it, I felt like, wow, like this is cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's, I don't know. I like that you were able to just kind of like, I don't want to say like out of necessity, but you had that moment where you were like, you know what, like I want to make something for my home. This is what it's going to be. And then you found that you were like really passionate about it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I think because, later. Yeah, exactly. And I think because I had this like encouragement growing up from my parents to be creative, I felt like, hey, like I can go and try this, you know, like, and I did, even though I didn't necessarily feel like I was good at art, I tried it. And for some reason, this type of art really was it for me.
Oh, I like that. That's so cool. You do math tutoring, and then you're also working on your PhD, which, Jesus, that's gotta be a lot of work, I imagine. Because you are like a fiber artist too, and like have your business and you're working that full time as well. Do you also have like a normal 9 to 5?
Yeah. So as a math coach, I am a full-time math coach. It's a position within the public school system. There's many names for it, but essentially like I support the math teachers and the math students with math curriculum, math instruction, and things like that. So that is my 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's actually 7:15 to 2:45. So I'm pretty early. Yeah. So that is my 9 to 5. And I love it. I get to work with teachers and I get to work with students, and yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's what I'm studying in my PhD program.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
so nice. They go hand in hand. What I'm studying is this job that I'm in now is a job that I've worked, you know, for several years as a teacher, and then my continuing education, and then my PhD and my studies with my PhD and my research groups are directly connected with my job as an educator. So that really helps.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. How do you, I guess, how do you find the balance? Because I imagine, I guess I don't know. Like when it comes to macrame, does it take you quite a while to create your items, or are they things that you can kind of do rather quickly? And then like how do you balance all?
Yeah, well, so it always depends on the items. Some items take me hours and days. Some take me 30 minutes. So it depends on the item. And in terms of balance, I think that's what's so important about fiber art and CozyHangs being a joy for me. It doesn't feel like work. And I try really hard to make sure I keep it like that. And I have to, say, I'm gonna not do this, right? Like I'm gonna make sure that I do, I have to prioritize a lot. I make a lot of lists, and I do a lot of like prioritizing. My family is very supportive, and that's very helpful. And it's something I enjoy doing. So when I come home from work, I want to do it. I want to dive into whatever project I'm working on. Most days, some days I say, you know what, today I'm going to rest. I'm tired. Yeah, exactly. So it kind of fits in as like something that's really joyful for me. And so that helps balancing.
Oh yeah. That's really, I don't know. It makes me happy to hear that is how I can describe it. Like where you're just so pumped and like get so much joy and like fulfillment from your art and like your craft that it's something you look forward to every day. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like personally, we kind of talk about that fiber art is again, kind of like therapy almost. It's time for you to essentially kind of like shut off the math side of your brain and kind of just chill and make art, and has that like therapeutic sense to it. Do you want, like, as you're making art or like your fiber art, is that something that you want people who buy it to also get out of it? Or like, what do you hope people, like the vibe, I guess, maybe it's not a great way to say it, but it brings, like, what do you hope your art brings to people's homes?
So, I mean, I think that art speaks to people differently depending on what they need and who they are. And so like, I just always hope that whatever people need at that moment is what my art can bring to them. I know for me, like joy is a big thing that I'm always looking for, joy and peacefulness. And so I just kind of hope that like when my art speaks to someone, it's giving them what they need in that moment, whatever that may be, because I think we all need different things at different points. And I think art is it's up for interpretation, and it can mean so many different things to different people. So, yeah.
Do you find that like, well, I guess, I'm not like super familiar with macrame or like weaving. Like I said, I've tried it. But where do you find like your inspiration for like the colors you use or like what you make when it comes to both of those?
So that is a great question. And that's a question I've asked several fiber artists that I've looked up to. And I think that everyone gets their inspiration from different things. I have started to look at things that I am drawn to. And it could be literally like anything. It could be like something on the street. And I'm like, wow, like those colors look great to and I'll like take a picture. Or it may be something I see on, in a magazine or a book. It might be something I see on a screen that just like kind of looks to me like a color palette that I would enjoy. Photography is a great one. Nature. Those are usually like where I'll be like, yes, I love those colors. I'll take a picture. And then they don't always like look, it doesn't always transfer the way it's like the color palette. You wouldn't be like, oh, she made this based on that. Like, but I did.
I love that. Especially with like nature too. I feel like the natural palettes, I guess. If you want to say that we find in nature lend themselves like really well, especially to like weaving.
Yes. Yeah. I made this one. I'm started to do like some spring colors. So I was like looking at pictures of like spring flowers. And so I did this one. It's like really pastel.
I freaking love them. Pastels are like, they make me so happy. And listeners, I will take screenshots of what Anna is showing so that you can enjoy these beautiful woven works that she's showing
and I can send you the pictures of them too.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, they're on my Etsy, and I can just send you the pictures that are there because I already got pictures of them taken. So wonderful. I can just send them to you. That way you don't have to screenshot them.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, oh, we have to show it because especially, so pastels, I don't know what it is about pastel colors, but if I could literally coat my entire life in like the colors that you just showed, I would. Like everything would be like light blues, purples, pinks. Like there's just something about those colors that bring me so much joy.
I love to hear that because my go-to is like super moody, super like naturistic, like dark greens and burnt oranges and like neutrals. And it's so funny because that's my go-to. But then when I make a piece like that pastel, I'm like, wow, I love these colors. And I have to remember that like not everyone loves the colors I love. And I'm like, you don't want like all black art. Are you sure? Like you don't want, like forest green, like, or olive.
Like, no, you do want this. It is
right. Like I love those colors, but it's been so interesting to me to have custom orders come in on those color palettes and do those and then fall in love with those color palettes, because like that's so cool for me is like when people make custom orders and they request certain colors, those are colors I would have never done together, but then when I do them, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. This is a great color palette. And so
you're like, I'm going to save this for later.
yeah. And so it's just always really cool to try new colors because I'm so drawn to the neutrals and the moody colors, but I always love to do different ones. So the pastel was fun.
I would say I'm kind of the same way. Like I like the darker, like moodier stuff, like aesthetically. But if you walked into my house, you'd be like, who the hell lives here? Because everything is like yellows and just like bright colors. And it does not go with my personality all the time. But for some reason, those are the colors.
Everyone loves it's cool to see what colors people are drawn to.
Oh, and I bet the custom work too is just like brings a whole new kind of bit of creativity to what you do. Because like you said, you get to explore like new color palettes and like, I'm sure it kind of pushes you a little to like think outside the box of
absolutely.
Even not just colors, but like what you would make.
Yeah, it definitely does, because a lot of the time I really just try to work kind of like naturally and do, but when there's a custom order, we kind of come up with an idea together and then I'm working to make that idea come to life rather than just being like, I'm going to just make this and do whatever. So it's definitely a different process.
Oh, love that. Wait, so you also recently just did like your first fiber art workshop. Is that right?
Yeah. We did a macrame workshop. It was a 3-part. So 2 of my good friends that I met through owning a small art business, who are very close friends now, we did a 3-part workshop where it was sold out. We were blown away. It was awesome. The people got to make a candle with my friend Kai. She's the owner of Kai's Candles. She makes these amazing, like she hand pours all of the candles and they're like candles that are good for you. Like, I guess there's lots of things that are added into candles, but hers are like natural and they're like, they don't put like chemicals in the air. So that's good. You can visit, she says it in a much better way, but they're like natural candles that are better for you.
Good for everyone.
It's on her website, exactly what they are. But and they just smell amazing. They're like burning in my house, like nonstop. And then my friend Kay, she is the houseplant hippie and she has a plant truck. It's like a food truck, but plants, and it's really dope. And I am so grateful to have them as friends, and they're super motivational. And so we did a 3-part workshop where people got to make a candle and they got to make a macrame keychain. It looks like this. Yeah. And then they got to plant a succulent in this like really cute martini glass because it was a self-love workshop. It was right around Valentine's Day. And we wanted to make it like a come as you are. Like you can bring a friend, you can bring a partner, you can come by yourself. And like there were people that came by themselves and made friends. And that was so special to me because we really wanted it to be like a come as you are like event where people felt like they could just enjoy themselves and make some things for themselves. And so it was really fun. We had a blast. We're doing a couple more of them in the spring and summer. So we're super excited about this.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. Yes. I saw that you were doing the workshop and I was like, oh, it looked like it was a really, really great event.
It was.
And you sold out, which is amazing.
I know we were blown away. We offered like 22 tickets and they all sold. we were so just cool. Really blown away, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And like you said, you'll have more coming up. And I imagine that, I don't know, I love those. Like, it's almost like a paint and sip, but like, like a craft and sip type thing. But like, you always meet like the coolest people at those, because they're like, like-minded, kind of crafty folk, or even people who are just looking to try like new crafts. Like,
well, exactly. And like, you do not have to be, I mean, we're making a candle, we're making a keychain, and we're potting plants. Like, you don't have to be great at painting. Like, I'm not great at painting, like, so it's really like, there's something for everyone, which is why we love these 3-part workshops, because, everyone's going to have different favorite parts, but there's something for everyone. And then you get to leave with 3 new things that you made for yourself. So it was very, very fun.
That's awesome. I love that. I might have to come try out one of these workshops.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to ask, because this is, like you said, you just got started like 2-ish years ago now, and like fully like dove in and got your business up and running. What advice do you have for artists or makers that are looking to start their own businesses, or that who want to run like workshops like the one that you just did?
Yeah, I think just kind of, it's so hard because everyone is so different, and so I think the best advice is to go for it in a way that you can enjoy it. And that looks different for everyone. And it's not easy. Like, so definitely like understand that there are going to be times that are challenging, and that you do sometimes have to, have tough skin. You have to, not everyone's going to like what you do, and that is okay. And you have to really like hone in on the enjoyment of it, and the friendships you can build from it, and the people who pour into you. I think that that's a huge thing for me, is appreciating the people that pour into me and pouring back into them as well. And so, just definitely go for it and just enjoy it, and understand that it's, like lots of things in life, it's not easy, but if you can enjoy it, it's very, very worthwhile.
I love that. Yeah, that's good advice. Like you were saying, that if you kind of stop enjoying your craft or your business, whatever you're doing, then what's the point in doing it?
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's so important. So important. So you kind of mentioned that you have workshops coming up in the spring, which is super exciting. Is there anything else that you're like working on, or I'm assuming you're doing markets again this year?
I am. Yeah. So that is something that I am. So last year I was like super excited to do markets. It was my first market season, and I was like, sign me up for everyone. I'm like so pumped. And I was like, markets are a lot of work.
They're exhausting.
Markets are a lot of work. And so I am picking 1 to 2 markets to do a month, most likely 1 a month. There are a few months that I have 2, but I'm really focused in on just doing 1 or 2 a month and having fun with them. And that'll give me the ability to work on. So I also recently started offering wholesale. And so I've gotten, to like plant shops and people who sell, handmade gifts, and people who have like shops where they, that has been really fun. And so doing 1 to 2 markets a month allows me to make sure that I am filling the wholesale orders, and allows me to make sure that I'm giving myself the time to be creative and work on things, custom orders, and then also prepare for the markets and make sure I have like the inventory that I want. So so I'm really excited for market season. I had my first one in February. I did one, and then my March market will be the last Saturday of this month. So March 26th. I will be at Highwire Brewing in Durham. They're having their anniversary party for their business, and they're doing like a big party with vendors and things like that. And that place is so fun. It's dog friendly. They have great drinks. They'll definitely have food trucks. There'll be tons of vendors. It'll be just like a really fun day. So I'm excited for that. And then I'll do a couple, I'll do 1 or 2 each month after that.
And wholesale, that's a whole other like learning experience, I'm sure.
And I'm starting small. But it's been cool to offer wholesale, because I get to collaborate with other shops. And that is a huge benefit, I think, just to like make friends and work together and support each other's small business.
Yeah, I love that. Where can folks kind of follow along so they can kind of keep track of the markets and what you got going on?
Yeah. So Instagram, I usually am available on Instagram for anyone to message me. I also post like the markets that I'm in, what I'm working on. I try to do like a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And then Etsy, you can always check out my work on Etsy and, message me on Etsy or Instagram. And yeah, that's really where you can find me the best, Instagram and Etsy.
Your Instagram is at CozyHangs.
Yes. And then on Etsy, it's also CozyHangs. You just search for shops named CozyHangs and you'll be able to find my shop.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I just want to say thanks to like everyone who's been so supportive of me. I definitely think that has helped keep me going. My partner and my family and my dogs, even, they hang out with me in my studio. My partner let me turn our guest room into my art studio. So, but yeah, just like my partner and my family and all my friends and the small businesses that I have met along the way and all of the friends that I've made through having this business and all of the people that just support me in either with kind words or with purchases. Like, I'm just so appreciative of all of them. And so I just want to say thanks.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you to you.
I mean, it's the like creative, like maker community is honestly like one of the best. Like the people you get to meet, the collaborations, just like feeding off of each other's just like good vibes. It's wild. Like it's an amazing community.
Exactly. I could not do it without like the friends I made through having a small business. I couldn't do it without like my friends that I've had for a long time, my family, my partner. Like my mom is, encouraging me all the time. My dad is encouraging me, helps me with like, they both help me with the business side of things. My sister owns her own business. It's not an arts business. It's a video game programming business. And like, so she's just amazing. And so like very inspirational. Like my whole family has just been so supportive. And yeah, my parents, my step-parents, my sister, everyone, my partner, like just so supportive. And I know I couldn't have done it without their support and the love they give me, and my dogs hanging out with me in the studio when I'm in here for hours. Like my best friends just constantly, like everyone just hyping me up. It's just been really, I just couldn't do it without them. And I've just been, just like so forever thankful for them and their support.
Oh, that's absolutely, yeah. Having that support system is so important.
It's so important. Yeah, exactly.
I want to thank you, Anna, for being on and for sharing your story and letting us get like a little sneak peek kind of behind the creative, I guess, of your fiber art. Yeah, I can't thank you enough. And I'm excited to kind of follow along on your journey of artwork. And definitely, I do think I'm going to try to catch one of your upcoming workshops because that sounds pretty great. And listeners, I would like to thank you for tuning in today. If you have questions or comments for me or for any of my guests, including Anna, you can text or call us on our hotline, 252-419-6004. You can leave a voice message and we will include them along with our answers on a future episode of the podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Wandering Creatives Pod. And of course, be sure to like, rate, and review the Wandering Creatives podcast. Stay creative, folks. That's it. Bye.
Thanks, Allie.
Thanks for listening to the Wandering Creatives podcast, a CEI media production. Please like, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast as it helps us greatly. You can follow us on Instagram at Wandering Creatives Pod and on Facebook at Wandering Creatives Podcast. If you would like to support the podcast, you can become a Patreon for just $5 a month. The link is in the episode description.